That's Twisted.
This is Mark McNeese in New York City with my co-host,
Rick Rose in Shreveport, Louisiana.
And you're listening to The Twist. Welcome to The Twist, everybody. America's only clothing optional podcast. Mark McNeese here on a sunny but chilly New York City day with my co-host, Rick Rose.
In Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes, you are. Thank you
what
for,
it is outside.
Thank you for reiterating that.
I always forget where I am, but today that's where I am. Last week I was here too, wasn't I? I can't remember. We took a week off. You had a miserable cold.
And you can tell it. You can hear it. I mean, I'm struggling through because I want our listeners to know that we're both extremely dedicated to this project in the name of truth and resistance and, good stuff. So I'm here sick, you're there sick, but we're doing it because we care.
Yeah, it's more on the resistance side today, man. Resisting the news, resisting Facebook, resisting chocolate. Yeah, we're in the middle of Lent, and I'm doing pretty good. I got 2 cups of tea, though, going on this morning. Still off coffee, Mark.
I can't imagine. I can't do that. I'm off.
Really?
Like caffeine is the only thing I've got left. I just am not ready to do without. I don't know that I ever will be, and it's okay. But no, I'm not giving up coffee for anybody, man. Come on. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't, the nicotine is gone.
I know.
In all its various
crazy
forms. So I got to have something. I'm sorry. I got maybe 25 more years left. And give me a scone and a cup of coffee and fuck it.
I know. I don't know how we do it, though. I'm 52, and, my body's taking a toll. Dancing for a cure. We had the big reveal last week on Wednesday. So it's like the local battle of the media stars, like Dancing with the Stars, but with media stars. And I'm dancing in 7 other kids, might I point out. Actually, there's one other gentleman, a sports guy here in town. His name is Fletch here in Shreveport. And he's about my age. I overheard, because we don't reveal our dances to each other until the beginning of April, and then the big dance off is May 6th at the Horseshoe Casino. I overheard he's doing Rocky. I'm doing something a little more sentimental. But let me tell you something, Mark. Wear and tear on my body after rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal. I don't even know how you just said, oh, I've got about 25 years left. I can't even imagine. I'm grateful if I do, but I can't even imagine the next 25 years for myself.
Yeah. My patience is limited with people who insist. They say stuff like, age is just a number and you're only as old as you feel. I always say, no, you're as old as your bones. If your bones are 58 or 65 or 73, that's how old you are. You can pretend that you're 30, but you're not.
Oh, that's so true.
It's just, to me, there's a level of denial in that whole thing. I understand being healthy and wanting to be energetic, and I do think being positive and upbeat is much more important to me than necessarily physical infirmity. But I'm not only as old as I feel. Then some days I'm fucking 75. That's how old I feel.
Well, you've always been a realist about it, and it is very true. And there's nothing wrong with it. I love the fact that when I'm with people my age, we openly talk about it. Here's the deal: every generation has been pushed more and more. I'm not saying our parents' generation wasn't active. We certainly were. Our kids, like my brother's kids, so our kids are that generation that would be under you and I. They're really pushing. I always worry about these people that put their kids in these competitive sports and they're having shoulder surgeries and knee surgeries at 16 to 19 to 25 years old. That's scary stuff. I don't know. We've talked about it on here before. I think pushing people that young doesn't pay off in the future.
No, it's crazy. It's not good for them.
Yeah, I want to point out yesterday was a big day. It was the National
St. Patrick's Day.
Well,
Spring Day. The second day of spring, third day of spring.
For first day, wasn't it? Yesterday.
No, the 21st. So anyways,
National second day of spring, National Rosie the Riveter Day.
Oh, cool. I wrote at least one Riveter piece.
Oh yeah, when we used to have the Rouge magazine, you were right with me.
Back when I was writing, when I was a working writer in the old days.
Well, you still are. Back in the day. Yeah, I've been with the company now. I've been with Gannett, USA Today Network for 3 years, and the company I joined and the company it is today is vastly different. As we know, I joined because I wanted to see the change from print to digital, but weathering that storm is not easy on the inside, guys. It's tough. But anyway, National Riveter Day was to raise awareness for over 16 million women who worked during World War II. Did you know that? 16 million women were a part of World War II's efforts. It's crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know that number was that staggering.
Now, there's a little siren or something. Can you hear it?
No, it's not here in Shreveport.
Then I won't worry about it. No, it's here somewhere, but there it goes. It's gone. So you want to hit into the headlines?
Yeah, let's hit into some red lines. We call them
Before
the
we
red
lose
lines,
our
guys.
voices, because I could lose my voice. Absolutely could lose my voice.
Speaking about losing things, I do want to say before we go in the headlines that there's a real one. I just have to say it, and then we'll move on from it. But only 30% of Americans approve of the job Trump is doing. Just got to say, 37.
30? Oh, I was going to say, did you say 30 or 37?
37%. But that's like the lowest ever in 72 years or whatever. At lowest ever.
This is me clapping, applauding. He's a monstrosity, and he was a monstrosity before he got into that office, and he's going to be a monstrosity when they take him away in handcuffs.
Bye-bye.
So, I don't wish him well at all. I want him out of the office. I got to be careful here. He's fouling, let's put it that way. He's fouling the presidency itself. It's not just that I don't like him. George Bush, any other Republican I would have respected as a president. But this man, it's a cash cow to him. He's making all the money he can. He's degrading the presidency, the office. And I said the other night at dinner, I don't think it's going to be hard for me to have the sort of respect and deference for the office after he's gone, because he has taken such a giant, contemptuous crap on the office of the presidency. And I can't wait till he's gone. And I don't apologize for it. You ready?
Yes, you start them.
Yeah, fun stuff, huh?
Yeah, girl.
Yeah,
girl.
R.I.P. to Chuck Barris, man. So sad.
Oh, sad.
But he was 87 years old now. The kids, you were mentioning the kids earlier. So as we get old, Rick, and I'm cool with the word old. Kids are like under 40.
Yeah, we're ancient.
So the kids are like Chuck Barris. Who the hell was that? He created the dating game. He had the Gong Show, which was a huge, sort of countercultural hit. Anyways, Chuck was an awesome guy and kind of crazy. He was claimed he was a CIA agent and all this other stuff. But we need more people like him in this world, I think. And he's gone.
When did he die?
Maybe yesterday. I read the headlines in the morning.
Oh my God,
I can't
you're
sleep.
right.
I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning reading headlines.
And they did that great movie on him. Remember that? Based on
with George Clooney directed it, I think.
Yeah. And that actor was really good in it. But I also thought we lost Chuck Berry this week too, didn't we?
Yes, we did. You didn't just think it happened. Chuck Berry died.
Chuck Berry was. I mean, it's just weird that they would both die because people confuse the two all the time.
I know.
I don't know.
It's there, and they look a lot alike too.
Yeah, he died like March 18th, and the other Chuck Berry. Oh my God, they don't look alike. Well, they kind of do, that frazzled hair.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Well, no, their hair does like.
Let's move on. We're dragging.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. This is big news. I don't know the headline for it, but they're coming out with this. I just got back from Wisconsin and brought back my cheese curd because I love to hand it out to everybody. But there's 3 new flavors recently hit the market in string cheese land. One is called Pinkie Pie Strawberry Jack Cheese. One is called Prime Punch Fruit Jack Cheese, and the other is called Honey Jack Cheese. They're pink and red string cheeses, guys. Just letting you know. They look really pretty when you cut them up.
Okay.
Just kind of cool. One's based on My Little Pony, and the other's based on Transformers.
Oh, all right. I have no idea why, but I guess it's fun. Different colored cheeses. Why not?
Selling them to the kids, but then you know what happens to the poop. Remember, we've talked about this before with the Oreos.
But who looks at it?
Shit, I don't know.
Who knows? How do they even know this stuff? Are they I don't know. Are they some monitors or something? Some poop monitors?
No, seriously. Poop monitors. Oh my God. You go, girl. Your turn.
Why U.S. communities should be designing parks for older adults. I got some older adult stuff going on today, including my big topic.
Good for you.
But no, it was a good article in the because people might say where are you getting this information? This is from Salon.com. I read that. I read the New York Times. I do not read fake news sources. So if anybody's looking for that, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Try the White House. But anyways, no, there was a good article about how as exercise is very important for older adults and so parks, as people design parks now, they shouldn't just be thinking about jungle gyms and swing sets, but designing them so that the aging American population can go into the park and exercise and do their older stuff.
I love that story.
Where's your bell?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking. All right.
You got to here's
ding it when you're done. If you ding it when you're done, then I don't have to cut you off or anything like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. We self-ding ourselves.
Yeah, we're self-dingifiers.
Yeah, but
I self-identify.
Oh my God, Mark! I thought it was to cut you off. We're self-dignified.
No,
We'll
we don't do that to each other, Rick. We're
not in
BFFs.
in our senior years, we don't do that. Hey, did you like that picture I sent you, by the way?
Of
Did you see
something.
it?
Yeah, it was great. I don't remember what it was, but I loved it.
Well, this just happened 4 days ago, guys. This is what you have to look forward to when you hit the 50-year mark. Mark, I was looking through some memoirs I brought back from Wisconsin along with my cheeses, and it was stuff from like Transfiguration of Ben Blimpie and Curator of
wow.
Orchids. Didn't you remember getting that picture?
I don't remember it, but I believe you.
Well,
I
no,
just
you
don't-
probably just
Did
didn't open it.
you said is it a text? How'd you send it to me?
I sent it via text. You go back
Okay,
and
all
look
right.
at our
I will.
Here's the cool part. Yeah, I didn't realize I kept this file of everything from college on through professional life. And God, it'll bring back good memories. It's awesome. All right, so this is something that's been 15 years in the making, folks. It's the perfect perfume. Yes, here's the headline. Kitten fur perfume will bring you one step closer to becoming a cat. It's
Wow.
a fragrance library company called Demeter Fragrance Library. They already offer scents that are called New Baby, Popcorn, Giant Sequoia, and Gin and Tonic. Now they've added kitten fur. They said it took 15 years to perfect the smell that you find just behind a kitten's neck. I'm grossed out.
That is just weird. I'm sorry. They smell like little animals. I don't know.
I'm going to puke.
And what's the difference between a kitten smell and like a bat smell? Do you think there's any difference? Here's one for the creepy file. There's a GOP bill. Well, the headline says, "Do you have Alzheimer's genes? The GOP wants your boss to know." Republicans derided Obamacare as an anti-state, but there is a GOP bill on genetic testing that is, because now a lot of companies have these wellness programs where if you do wellness stuff and you exercise, you get points off for your insurance and crap like that. So now there's a bill that would allow companies as part of that to demand your genetic test results.
What?
So it's creepy. It's to see what diseases you carry in your genes and allow employers to see the results or face a financial penalty. It's called Preserving Employer Wellness. Well, never mind. I'm going to go there. We don't have time. But yeah, it's a real thing. It's for real. I'm not making it up. It's not fake news. Go to the White House. If you want fake news, go to the White House. Did I already say that?
Mm-hmm. Here's mine. Chinese plastic surgeons offer to transform patients into Ivanka Trump, speaking of the White House.
Hey, and she gets a cut, man. That's the best thing. She's getting a cut. So
I love it. They say when they're advertising it says she softens the Trump harsh.
she is the Trump harsh, but go ahead.
Okay, so no, that's it. That's the headline. I think it's weird enough in and of itself.
I can't help myself. Dan Savage went off on Melania Trump because everybody's like, being really nice
He sure
about
did.
Melania. Yeah, he said, she's as much of a shit as a criminal as he is, a crook as he is. And the same things with his kids. Like Ivanka, she's beautiful. She's so smart. She cares about women. She cares about making money. She cares about having all her crap made in China. She's getting an office in the White House, which she said she was not going to do. This whole family, these are the Borgias. I said this a while ago. These are you know who the Borgias were? From the Renaissance? They're the fucking Borgias, man. And they moved into the White House, and they're all, except for the kid, the little 10-year-old, I won't pick on him. But the adult children are just as every bit as money grubbing and greedy and conniving as that orange turd they call a father. So I'm pissed, obviously, because we've talked about this. I'm not going to pick on his voters, but I'm going to pick on this motherfucker because I'm going to lose. If I lose my insurance, if they throw 24 million people off the insurance rolls so they can give a $600 billion tax cut to the rich people, no. I'm not going to be nice about it at all. And I'm not giving him, I'm sorry, I'm just pissed because I was looking at, we're moving to Jersey, so I was looking at our insurance options in New Jersey. And of course, we get subsidies for the time being, and it's a whole mess. And I can't stand any of these Republicans. Okay. Speaking of that, Trump's border wall, did I say this the last time? Eminent domain. The Texans, people in Texas are already getting their notices from the government saying we're going to give you $2,500 for your property, or we're going to take it because we have to build a wall. So, good thing. I hope a lot of them are Trump voters, and I hope a lot of them lose their property. Works for me.
Let's think about the things we can do better. You're right. Like, my concern is the bumblebee. So where it becomes noticeable, like in January, a North American bumblebee was added to the U.S. endangered species list for the first time. Because of the pesticides and parasites that are around us every day. They've killed off bee populations at rates up to 30%. This is serious stuff. When you don't have pollinating abilities out there and the bees aren't around to do their work, what's that going to do to our food supply? These are serious issues, guys. It's not something I just am coming up with for a headline. But the story is really the makers of Honey Nut Cheerios are seriously concerned. And go to the grocery store, guys. It's pretty impactful when you go down the aisle of Cheerios and cereals and you see there's no bee on the Honey Nut Cheerios box. They took it off as a reminder for people that the symbols there, Mark, is just a little white blotch, like a police line, basically saying the bee is on. We need to be serious about our pollinating. I thought it was interesting.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I read something about the bee being gone from the cereal box and I didn't know what the hell it was. So now I'm informed. Yeah. That's why, I can't believe we didn't do this last week because I need you to keep me informed, Rick.
Well, you need me to tell you things like this, too. Japan's bizarre giant penis parade sees young brides ride 7-foot-tall wooden phallus through streets for the ancient fertility ritual that happened this week.
And everybody looks like Ivanka? Is that the thing?
Well, that's a different country, Mark. But you knew that.
Yeah. Now, how many more you got? I got like 3 more. How many
this is a good one, though. It's really a real celebration. I did see it when I lived in Japan. It's on the second Sunday of March each year.
Okay.
Any woman who was wet in the past 12 months gets to ride the big phallus. Mm-hmm.
Great. I'm going to make our reservations for next year.
Yeah, you do that.
Speaking of big phalluses, you say phallus, I say phallus. Grinder.
You say penis, I say peni. Go ahead. You got a Grinder story?
Well, just Grinder, which I have no personal knowledge of Grinder. I don't even know what the app looks like, except that it's some weird face mask. But anyways, they added some gay emojis, but they're gay emojis. For Grinder people to for tops and bottoms, you can signal to people what you're into with these little gay emojis. But one of them was the letter T, possibly for trans. They removed it because their users told them it could be mistaken for crystal meth, and one of the slang names for meth is Tina.
What?
Crystal meth. See, I know this stuff.
Tina.
For my researches. Tina. Yeah, crystal meth is called Tina, or, that's one of its names. When you do little ads on Craigslist back in the day, you would see Tina. Tina this, Tina that. Wow. I mean, it's crystal meth. So they took the T off of there. Okay, your turn.
Replace it with.
Oh. What?
What are they going to replace it with?
With the letter T? I don't know. I don't know. It's because do you even need it on there? Is that an emoji that you need to tell people that you're trans? I don't know.
Well, I don't know that you need to tell people top and bottom because don't you just say I'm a top? Why do you have to put an emoji on there? I don't understand.
I don't either. It's an app. Who cares?
God, so glad we're over 50. Here's one. T for Thomas the Tank. I love to look when I look for these headlines. I like to go to YouTube too, like the youngsters do, and kind of find videos and then read deeper into the stories and see what videos are resonating. This one's title is Horrified.
Did you say resonating?
Resonating.
Okay. All right. No, that was like, wow. See, but you can tell I'm listening to you when I say that.
But yeah, I put a G in there and it didn't need a G, did it?
No, I like the word resonating. Okay.
You know why I like it, Mark? Because it's kind of like it's resonating and it's it's resigned to resonate.
Yes.
So therefore,
it's resigned to resonating.
So it's resonating.
Okay, go on.
All right. Horrified mom claims. So yes, this is from the UK. Horrified mom claims her toddler's Thomas the Tank Engine toy says "fuck a duck," and you can watch this video for a long time. It shows a remote control train chugging along, and it's apparently blurting out the seemingly rude phrase. It costs about 15 pounds. It's part of the my first Thomas range aimed at children ages 18 months to 3 years. His mom's suing the company, saying, "Why does it say that?" It apparently goes around the track, says "fuck a duck, fuck a duck, fuck a duck."
Oh, that's crazy.
That's funny. Go watch the video. It's funny. Google it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I'm just going to do one more because my throat's getting kind of weird. But Rachel Maddow stopped covering Trump's tweets, which I think is a great thing to do.
Yes.
I wish all the organizations would do that. Just report on what they do and say, not what this moron tweets. But here's my last one because I want to get onto our topics or my whatever. I don't know how many you have left, but again, my voice has limitations. Soccer player returns to sports after killing his ex and feeding her to
Oh
the
my
dogs.
God.
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. Brazilian soccer player Bruno Fernandes de Souza had his former girlfriend abducted, tortured, murdered, and fed to a pack of dogs.
Oh, shit.
After serving just under a 7-year prison sentence, he is now returning to the game, to soccer, on a national team. So there you go. He paid his debt to society and cut her up and fed her to the dogs, and now he's back in the arena.
Oh my God. Well, I'm going to end mine with a story from Brazil too, and you'll like this one, having been to various of my haunted homes when I used to own homes in Hannibal, Missouri, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The big mansion, Rockcliffe Mansion, that I owned in the garden.
We
house
stayed
bed and
there. We
breakfast.
stayed there. It's haunted.
I know, they're very haunted. Well, this headline says, bizarre news: Brazil's president driven out of a residence by a ghost report. Yeah, Michael Turner, Terner, Tener, whatever, president of Brazil, blames bad vibes and crazy ghosts for driving him out of the residence he was staying in Brasilia, according to a Brazilian Newsweek paper. Apparently it's haunted, and he's 76 years old, and his wife is 33 years old. There's the issue. And they found different weird, spooky things in the house, and they came running out of the house. And the local news and statewide national news covered it. So it exists, guys.
It does. It's perfect for you because you're on the haunted tip, really.
I am.
Everywhere
Man,
you go, you do tours and you buy haunted houses and stuff.
I had my morning shows, in Quincy, Illinois for 2 hours, kind of like this with my good friend Karen Brown, who you may remember. She's now the voice of Mississippi Public Radio.
Yeah.
And I was listening to her the other day because you can hear, tidbits on, public radio websites. And I was thinking about how much fun she and I would have. We'd used to go on the show and I'd talk about this stuff just like you and I are talking about now. And then I'd get off the show and someone would call WGEM, our local station in Quincy, where we're on air. And they would say, I need to talk to Rick Rose. And I get on the phone and Karen would just hear my side of the conversation. That's always fun when you're together a conversation, when you just hear the one side, right?
Yeah.
And they would call me and say, we need to have an exorcism in. So she'd just hear my side say, well, I know a few Catholic priests I can call to handle this situation, Miss White. It was pretty funny. People looked at me as the ghost expert back then.
Yeah, you're the ghost resignator.
Yeah. You
ready for the big stuff? Moving on to the big stuff.
But you can't make someone laugh when they're hurting in the throat. You know that. It doesn't go together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so don't make me laugh. Okay,
all right,
stop.
Big topic.
Yeah, the big stuff.
My big topic. It goes to the old stuff, the theme of old. And it also addresses, because I was thinking, I went off maybe 5 minutes ago on Donald Trump. And I know some folks are like, give him a chance. Why are you so mean? I'll tell you, here's exactly why I'm so mean and why I will give this man no quarter whatsoever, or his administration. The Trump administration, this was in the NBC News, it's been all over. Trump administration removes LGBTQ questions from the elderly survey. Now, I was invited as the editor of LGBT Senior last year to the White House for a summit on issues facing the queer older people, seniors and elders. That will never happen again, at least not under this administration or any Republican administration, because we don't matter to them. They don't care about us. And they're doing everything they can to erase us. So there's a survey that goes out every year for the Department of Health and Human Services of Older Americans Act participants to decide how to allocate federal funding to groups that work with the elderly. And for years, the LGBT groups like SAGE were not part of it, and they lobbied to be part of it. And under the Obama administration, we became part of it. So issues that face us that are unique. Now, I don't want to take up too much time, but I remember maybe a couple years ago, when I was posting stuff from LGBT Senior, there are people out there who go, well, like, why is it any different for, a gay a senior than it is for a straight senior? It is different. It's called discrimination. Until recently, we couldn't get married. There are all kinds of really difficult obstacles that face old queer people. And a lot of them were going back into the closet as they went into assisted living or nursing homes.
Oh,
because
horrible. Yes.
so anyways, there are issues unique to us, and we finally were getting them addressed and recognized as part of this survey. And now with the Trump administration, the survey there was a draft of it circulated, and guess who's not included anymore? You know, the LGBTQ seniors we don't exist for them, or they certainly hope we don't exist. So
well, it's almost like any senior's not going to exist if you have Paul Ryan has his way, you know.
Yeah,
So
but I know,
whammy
but
of
you understand what I'm
discrimination.
saying. The survey is still,
yes.
it's an annual survey, and it helps them allocate funds to research to places who help seniors. So if we're not on this survey, SAGE is not going to be allocated any funds. You know, organizations that work with queer seniors will not be recognized. And our issues will not be recognized. So to that I say, fuck Donald Trump and Mike Pence and all of these good Christians who were so, the evangelicals specifically, who wholeheartedly support these motherfuckers. That's how I feel about it. I got no apologies, and I'm not even angry. This is just what I think. I think they're a bunch of motherfuckers. And the sooner he's impeached, the better. Then we'll get rid of Pence in 2020. But that was my big topic, man. They're erasing us. We saw that the day after the inauguration, when the LGBT part of the government website was taken down, along with others, Hispanics and disabled. I don't know what's back up there, but I guarantee you the queers aren't back up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, some might say, well, you finally hit equality, so why should we, separate it out? But whenever you're of that minority,
people who say that have no understanding.
I
People
totally
who
get
say
it.
that's like white privilege.
I was just going to say, whenever you're of a minority, you have to fight all your
cisgender,
life.
heteronormative, white privilege to even suggest
No,
that
but you
I
hear
can
it all
get
the
married,
time.
so I'm equal now. No, I'm not equal. In most parts of this country, I can be fired for being a homosexual. I can be denied housing. I can have somebody say, we don't rent to faggots. And I have no legal recourse. So to people who think that way, Rick, I mean, you know better than that.
I know.
They're uneducated, and if they're not willing to educate themselves, screw them.
I know, it's crazy. Well, my end quote's going to actually relate to that. It's a very simple quote, but it's going to relate exactly to that point. We always end the show with an end quote, but I agree. It's like we've come far, but you can never come far enough. When one man's not, it kind of is the other quote was like, if everyone's not free, then no one's free. I'm certainly not free until my brother in Uganda or my sister in Kenya are free. It just don't work that way. But
no, and if they can, if the Supreme Court can gut the Voting Rights Act 40 years after its passing, it's insane to think that because RuPaul's Drag Race is a hit and I could get married, that queer people are equal. Excuse me? You need to get your fucking head out your ass thinking like that.
That's my quote.
And it can
your head out your ass. Mark
and it can
McNeese.
be taken away. These rights, I guess that's what I'm saying with the Voting Rights Act. And we could go backwards. This country can absolutely go backwards.
Oh, yeah. And don't think there's not
now.
a plan to do that. I mean, exactly. These decisions to pull things off the website are not, and that's where I was headed with it, are certainly not to say, hey, we're all equal, let's move on. No, they're devised specifically to eradicate any kind of growth, or to stunt it to begin with, and then to start to roll back on it. And it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about a good thing. Our show always
good stuff.
brags about being the only clothing optional podcast, right?
Yeah. I'm hardly wearing anything now.
We do this for a reason. The importance of being naked. I was reading this story that it's one of those listicles that comes out and says, here are 6 reasons you should go naked during the day, or at least make one day a naked day. Do you do that, Mark? Do you ever make, besides our Wednesday one?
No, I wear my boxer shorts a lot, but I don't go naked. And but go on. I mean, you put towels down and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah. We were on a cruise once. I was with some friends, and I think it was my 40th birthday cruise. We all got on the boat, and they let us know that this was the first clothing optional nude thing. It was 3,200 people on the cruise before us that were nude, and the performers, the comedians and stuff that we went to see said, "Oh God, this group's a little different." He said, "Group before us, man, we would look up, and it's always that fear, like when you're on public speaking engagements, and you're told to just look up and pretend, everyone's naked." They said it really was that way, and they would ask. Everybody had to bring a towel with them to wherever they sat on the cruise ship.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There's cutting to the chase there, getting explicit because we need to. No, go ahead. Go on.
That's interesting. But here are the 6 reasons. Number 1 is become more comfortable with your body. They say that if you walk around and you're more comfortable in the nude, when you, like, that was me. I never wore shorts, even when I lived in LA. I never liked my legs, never wanted to do it. No, you can't take shorts off me. I love wearing shorts because
Yeah.
I'm proud of my legs and I don't really care. Another reason is to encourage breastfeeding. There's a physiological part of it. If you're a nursing mother, spending more time topless may help you actually with breastfeeding. Number 3, to encourage intimacy. When you're partnered or married like you are, Mark, spending more time in the buff can naturally encourage more intimacy. You just are more comfortable.
Okay.
Here's another one that doesn't affect you and I, but it affects our sisters. To promote vaginal health. Yes, leaving your nether regions naked more often can be a lot healthier for you. Studies show that fibers actually pose the highest risk of a UTI.
Okay.
So when you have no clothes on, you're limiting that risk. Number 5, to get a better night's sleep. This makes sense, although I will tell you, I like to take my clothes off when I sleep sometimes, especially on a Tuesday night when I roll into this show and I'm completely naked. But I always have to put a pillow or something between my knees. I don't like my skin touching itself. You know what I mean? Oof. And number 6, to be happier. They say that, it's just natural when you go with the flow and that's why they say a lot of nudists like being nudists, because it just makes for a happier society. Something to think about.
Excellent. That's your big topic?
Well, that was something I just wanted to throw out there. No, I have a big topic, but that was just something I wanted to remind us why we do a clothing optional podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I'm going to strip right now. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're not naked
go on.
yet.
No, I'll take my clothes off. Just keep talking. Big topic.
The big topic is really just going off Facebook, going off news like we talked about. So, for Lance, I decided to go off Facebook. And then by being off Facebook, I'm limiting myself from posting and reposting things that I read that are politically oriented. And by not being on Facebook, I'm also not, barraged, don't have this sense all the time of all these stories and headlines coming at me. And even when I was poking out to my news feeds, like, how I love my HuffPost or the news app on any cell phone, I don't go deeper. I may read the headlines and I move on, but I read a story recently and I shared it with a lot of my friends in the news industry about the importance of why, not taking in the news is good. And one of the things I just want to say, which is interesting, besides the fact that news can depress you, like when you were just talking about what you were talking about with senior citizens in the LGBT community, I shut down. My body just immediately goes into this. I don't get mad. I have to think and I have to process, and therefore it pulls me into a new space. And so it obviously affects you just hearing what the headline is. But the way we deliver news now, Mark, like in your years at Reuters, my years at Gannett, how we've seen things change the way we deliver news. Folks, think about this. When you get a news alert, every time that's firing off, many of us keep the alerts on, you're immediately interrupted. It's like when an email comes or a text comes, you're immediately interrupted from these longer times of thinking, more creative moments in your life, because you're barraged and you're hit by all these little alerts that are coming left and right. They also say that triggers your cortisol production. Like it's a physiological thing. When you're hit by these things, your body triggers and we become fatter in our stomachs and our stress levels hit in. The other thing that's interesting is the way we deliver news are now short little tidbits. And then embedded within those stories are other stories. So we're reading a story, let's say, about Ivanka Trump. And then there's a story in there about 3 months ago when Ivanka and Neiman Marcus were at it. And then you go deeper into that story. And it's just basically saying that we're digesting news in these little tidbits. It doesn't allow us for these longer, what news should really be is more like in-depth, investigative ways to make you think, to process, to affect a change in your life. And not the way we're delivering news and the way we're taking in news, the Miami Vice style of news delivery, as I call it. It's really interesting, and being off of it has certainly created a great effect in my life. Not only has it given me more time, but it's made me really think about the things that are important and not these little things that the news directors think are important because they're delivering clicks. That's all the newsrooms care about now. Sorry, guys. I can tell you internally that we're asked to deliver clicks. That's all they really want us doing anymore. So
right, and then I've noticed a while ago that, like the HuffPost, they'll just change the headline. It'll be the same damn story, but they change the headline, so you clicking on it again.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's killing creativity. It's making us passive. It's like a drug. It's no different than the drugs were just the new Molly or whatever you were calling, Tina. Anyway, we'll call it N for news.
One of my items that I didn't do was about young people now. There's a decrease in drug usage, and the researchers are wondering if it's because they're addicted to their phones.
Oh my God! See, it's true. There's a value, but it's true. I mean, it's so true. Anyway,
is that it? Can I bing?
Bing, bing, bada,
Bling,
bing,
bling.
bing. You got some final moments, don't you? Some
Just my final
thoughts.
thoughts, and I didn't delve. This is not a deep dive necessarily, but I don't know if you pay attention to this stuff. Recently, it's come back up among feminists of all people, whether transgender women are quote real women. Here, this is from Pink News, which is one of the gay news sites that I do like. They're out of the UK, but there seems to be an epidemic of otherwise intelligent, respectful, feminist people suddenly blurting out that trans women aren't real women. Dame Jenny Murray did it last week, whoever she is, with the host of BBC Radio 4's Woman's Hour. And then there's a black feminist who's like really well known and was been on Beyonce's videos, but this says over the weekend, which would have been at least last weekend, if not earlier. Here's one of these names. I'm sorry, but Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's probably. Oh, please stop me. Stop me, Rick. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm not stopping you though. Keep going. I love it.
I was going to say, she's born Betsy Cooper.
Oh, I know. Okay, it's Betsy Cooper.
But it's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who wrote the brilliant "We Should All Be Feminists." Boy, I just undercut myself with that one. But she was saying the same thing, that trans women aren't, quote, real women. See, we're going to have to end it because my voice is gone. But my final thoughts, now that I have completely delegitimized myself with my Betsy Cooper joke, that, no, this whole thing about you can't be a real woman if you've ever experienced male privilege. And sometimes this stuff gets taken I can understand why there's pushback, why there's reaction from the right or from people who say this is crazy. But of course they wouldn't say that about transgender women because they are very anti-trans, most of these. So anyways, the point being that there are feminists now like these people who are saying they're not real women. And my final thought is, what the fuck is a real woman? Mm-hmm. Is that like a real American? Am I a real author because I self-publish?
Am I real gay? I mean,
yeah, the whole idea of being
gay.
a real anything
I know.
is it just rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know, it's just ridiculous, but it's been going on and it's going to come back and forth. But my final thought, I guess, is that, in an age of self-identification, why, I don't know. I think it's crazy. A transgender woman to me is a woman.
Yeah, that's interesting. It reminds me of that thing I sent you. I know it's your final thought, but just a comment on that that I sent you this week that my partner Jesse sent me. There used to be the male sign and the female sign. One had an arrow, and one had a plus sign. Remember, we learned that. And I sent Mark this thing, guys. It's like this spreadsheet of all these different symbols that represent gender fluidity and transgender and all the different, there's scientific figures like the arrow and the plus sign that have been created now. We're not, it is. It's just, we don't live in a black and white world anymore. We live in a gray world in a positive.
Well, and we
way,
never really did. I think I mentioned on an earlier podcast that in Hawaiian, native Hawaiian culture, indigenous Hawaiian culture,
right,
there's no gender. So there's no such thing as trans, which to me would be great. I'd love to get past the whole, because I've thought before, if I were a transgender woman, would I really even want to be called trans?
Right. I don't want to be called cis.
I'm a woman. I'm not a trans woman. I'm a woman. But we get stuck in these language barriers and these boxes. Because I'd like to just get rid of trans. That would be a good day when the whole idea of being trans is gone and you just are what you are.
I know. I agree there. That's why I always say, I'm Rick Rose, bitch. And that just takes care of everything. You know what I mean?
Because you were born a bitch.
You were born a bitch,
and you self-identify as a bitch.
I did. So there you go.
Now, is the word bitch? Is that all my life? I've had trouble with that word because I think to me it means it's
gender.
Yeah, it's a gendered word.
It's a Hillary Clinton, if you will.
But people use it.
I know.
Do you have a problem with it?
Well, no. I'll tell you what. It's so interesting you say it. And this is why we've been. It's like when women are in a room together and they work together and they menstruate together and they have
call
similar
each other bitches.
Well, no,
absolutely.
Mark, you can't make me laugh when I have a cold. But when we've been together 30 years, our minds kind of think alike at times. And this whole week, every time I said, someone cut me off in traffic yesterday. I said, that bitch. Now, I didn't even look to see if it was a man or a woman. So the point is, I've been censoring myself recently, saying that is a word that implies, like you said, that it's a female, and it's, no. We say bitch. I mean, it's more and more common now. I think gays used it all the time. You bitch. No,
well, one of my favorite words, and it is gender neutral, is turd.
Yeah.
When I think of Donald Trump as a turd, it's a turd.
Yeah, I just hate that word.
But that's gender neutral. So.
Well, I think bitch is gender neutral anymore. I'm calling it as a gender neutral term.
Okay.
So so
you got it.
Right, bitch. Can we move on, bitch? And sometimes it can be good, and sometimes it can be bad. Like when I say to you right now, let's move on, bitch. It's a nice thing, right?
Or that was a bitch, man. Ooh, that workout was
what
a bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. I'd rather have a bitch workout than a turd workout.
Yeah. It's pretty gooey.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my God.
Now
I'm sweating. Three most important Stoic philosophers of all times: Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus.
Is this your quote? Can you identify it?
Yes. I'm giving you a quote from one of the Stoic philosophers, and that would be Epictetus. You know who Epictetus is, Mark?
A dentist.
Yeah, he's the pick man now. He was born a slave. He was a Greek Stoic philosopher. And he really has some wise things to say. Well, it was a quote that was in a movie. There's a movie out right now called A United Kingdom, which tells the story about Swaziland over in tells about the freedom in the 50s and that African nation. And the heir apparent who basically says, no, we're not going to have this kingdom anymore. We're going to break it down. We're going to have a democracy. Marries a white British woman and brings her back to his tribal land, which basically he and his uncle, who's the current ruler, have to come to an agreement to end law, the kingdom as we know it, and make it more of a democracy. So he has this beautiful end quote that really is attributed to Epictetus. It's not the quote of this gentleman, but it's a great quote. I referenced it earlier today, and I just have to share it. It's a very short one, and I love this one, and it's something to remember.
Okay.
It is this simple 10 words, okay?
Got it.
No man is free who is not a master of himself. No man is free who is not master of himself.
Is it repeated, or did you just read it twice?
No, I read it twice because I was emphasizing it. I'm going to read it a third time by itself. Okay, here it is. No man is free who is not master of himself. I'm trying to give it a good reading, but you get it. It's a good quote.
I like it. I like it a lot. And as always, you found the perfect thing to end this podcast on. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Twist, America's only clothing optional podcast. I'm getting out of here before my voice no longer works. Rick will be back next week, with or without our clothes on.
Oh, mine will be off. All right. Everybody have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.